discussed it at all.
Well,
It seems
I
to
mean,
be
that's, I've been here
According to
3
Mr.
times and it's always been brought up, so.
According to Mr. Yarborough, that I spoke with last night, about the last time I talked with him was about 10:15 after 5. As he pointed out again, a 70 amp breaker for the 10V, and on that list you can see the other size breakers for them. He said there's no soft starts, there's nothing required, just either 20, 40, 70, or 100 amp breaker put in an existing service, and that's it.
And there it is.
That's it.
Getting back to my original question, have we got somebody set up to do the monthly inspection on these batteries, to do the maintenance on them, make sure they're not corroded, so when they are ready to work and operate, we'll be ready to go?
Our EMA office will do that. They'll have to inspect the sirens themselves, set them off at least monthly to make sure they're working.
Okay.
And make sure the trickle charger is working and all that. So, yeah, those will be inspected.
Well, I didn't know, I mean, I was thinking of the cost involved besides what we've already been talking about possibly.
Well, there'll be some other cost involved with that, but generally, David and some others, they're out running around anyway. And all you got to do is drive by with just a radio, and you can key it to that particular siren.
You also got to put it in the paper that you're doing it, so it doesn't alert the people unnecessarily.
Bat and radio too, would help.
Well, I'm sure that would be something that
That's another.
Mr. Pitcher or Mr. Gregg or somebody would have planned scheduled things at noon Saturday every month or every week,
Well,
or
yeah, that
whatever
would be
the
done.
briefing to be done. There's going to be a unique type of short blast just for testing purposes.
Yes, sir.
So,
That's all that we can present at this point. We're just waiting for you guys to let us know what you want to do, if there's anything you want us to do.
Steve, if you have a minute or two, we can time these guys up with. But okay, what I would suggest is that this be all put on hold until we. I mean, another 30 days after 3 years is not be a big deal, I don't think. And until we get this additional information, the obvious choice of electric or AC or DC should be put off until we get this information. And if someone has to take the blame for postponing this another 30 days, it's fine for you to use me.
Well, it's not, again, I don't want to point blame at anyone, although I do feel blame's been pointed at me for some things that I don't feel I've had a problem with.
The only decision here is whether these purchase orders and orders in the last 24 hours need to be fulfilled.
I will cancel them immediately.
That's fine. And in 30 days, we can have your response, and in 30 days, you'll have a legislative body meeting or whatever, however you want to say.
Again, I'm not out for pointing blame. I'm for getting this project done, and I hope that will go 2 ways.
Mayor, can you go maybe another way? Can you ask them to hold the order instead of just canceling it? Maybe they'll do that.
Yeah. I wouldn't cancel it, but yeah.
Anybody else have anything further? I'm sorry, your chair.
No problem. Basically, what we can get you guys is just what I've said today, in that, a normal procedure, and what that entails, getting a new service and a normal monthly charge.
McElwain, when you finish with Dixon Electric, can you get some sort of confirmation from them?
Absolutely.
In writing, so that you guys can have that, we can have that, and we'll all know where we're coming from, okay?
One thing I was going to point out too, talking to Mr. Fitzgerald yesterday, there's consideration for instead of using poles for a couple of places up in east to use the vinyl water towers to mount the siren on. And I did ask, either Chuck or Bill, I guess it was Chuck I spoken with last, and he said that typically happens a lot. And, you know, he said you don't put it up on top of the tower, it's like 40 foot in the air, because that's what it would be equivalent of on a pole at any rate. And he said that happens a lot of the time.
Take a different bracket.
And because the water towers are on a high place, usually the highest place in the area, and you know, looking at, you know, there's a whole lot of things to consider, and I know this is a tough thing, but looking at the distance that the different sirens provide, of course, you know, the bigger the number you get, the bigger distance that it covers, but the battery powered has a larger radius or a larger circle than until you get down all the way to the 15V, and it's a couple $1,000s higher than some of the ones, well, almost $2,000 higher than the 10V that we looked at getting. But you know, it's a tough thing to try to get something worked out. But these 50-foot poles, that's a good sized pole, and burying 10 foot of it in the ground, that's a lot to consider on too. So.
That idea alone is worth this meeting. Thank you, guys. If you think about Centerville and the water towers that service Centerville, and that's pretty good coverage.
We did, and for what, the reason the ones that, David, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason the ones in Bon Aqua are appealing is because they're the towers on legs.
Plus, they have a fence around them.
Well, there's all of them have a fence around them.
Well, the water towers have fences around them.
Right. But a lot of the ones, or all the ones in Centerville that I'm aware of, except for the one at Grinders, are just big tanks, and there's nothing to
So nothing to mount to.
mount to.
Concrete? Yes, they are. Most of them.
No, the pedestal's steel, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, the one, other than the grinder switch, when you're talking about like up at, Columbia Avenue at Oasis Bernard, I guess that's concrete. There's some toward Pleasantville up there, I guess.
Yeah, if it's just like a water heater, it's just sitting on the ground on a pad, it's not on a pedestal, like Steve said, there's nothing to mount it to. But,
We'll try to get you that, Mr. Gregory, we'll try to get you that information.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate all you guys meeting with us.